Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. So, if you have watched my mega haul video that I just did, you will notice that I got a lot of G.I. Joe classifieds, and I'm going to be reviewing a classified vehicle and pilot, and this is going to be the G.I. Joe AWE Striker with Crankcase the driver. Now, of course, I did some pictures, you can see it on the Facebook page. So, of course, this was the first one I opened of all the stuff that I received because I really wanted to have a look at this vehicle, because I must say that this is something that I was really looking forward to, especially that we're not getting tons and tons of these vehicles. So yeah, this one really does work for me. So anyway, before going into all of this, let's have a closer look at the box. So these are the standard boxes that Hasbro is giving. So you will have reproduction of the vehicle or a picture of the vehicle. Of course, you will have the figure who's over here in the blister. Then you have, of course, some little backgrounds, maybe a tease for future stuff. So it's kind of funny because I don't know if Hasbro is going to really do Tool Booth with his bridge layer, but yeah, why not? And then you have different versions of the vehicle with the roll bar protection, without the roll bar. Does that feel a bit strange to have it over there? It's very blurry, so you can't even see who is driving it, but it does look like it comes with the guy with this helmet. Also, Hasbro, I would like to point out something, and I guess I'll be pointing that out a bit later on in the video. You have your 50 cal over here. You have your setup of a vehicle, and I strongly believe that you do have people who were in the military in your place, or anybody you can know, but the box here and the way the ammo is fed into the 50, that's the wrong way round. On this side you have the 50 cal charging mechanism that you're going to be pulling back, so that would be fed in this way. So a little detail, maybe some people will say I'm nitpicking, but again, if you're doing military lines and you want to go onto this kind of vehicles and go into this weaponry and everything that is on it, try to at least get it right when you're building it up. This is little things that can be found out pretty easily. So, of course, it's pretty hard to show the box over here. We have a nice drawing over here of Crankcase. And, of course, we're going to spin the box around. And because afterwards on the side we do have these QR codes to bring to nowhere with some military expertise, something that Hasbro should really do something about. But of course, like always, you will have the explanation of what you get in the vehicle, some little pictures of showing you the way it goes. You have a GPS on it, why not? The interior with the cup holder over here was a funny little detail. Then you have the back of the vehicle, and then we have everything that comes with it. So surprisingly, they show you that the ammo bullets come out. I tried removing them and they felt very well attached, so I didn't do it, and I'm not going to take the risk of trying to pull something out and it breaks, so I didn't take them out. So for me, on the one I have, they look to be solidly attached, so I don't think they do come out on the one I have. Could be paint problems, could be some other issues. I'm not going to go into much details. So it is very surprising that the way they do the presentation of the box, you have two of these, and of course you can only see one due to the fact that the other one is on the other side, and I would have thought that it would have been interesting that you would have dismantled these little accessories that you don't see fully to put them over here. So of course you get everything that comes in the box. It's nothing new over here under the scan. So let's have a look at another part of the vehicle that I will not be going back to, because of course this is one of the ones I have extra from the minting box. But I wanted to go on to these parts over here, who is a extra sheet of stickers. And of course there is this thing that is in every box that we don't care about. It's a lot of blah blah that do not care about. Then of course we do get the manual that explains you how everything works. It's very basic. It tells you you need to follow the steps 1, 2, 3, then put everything on it. Of course, when I'm going to show you the video, I'm also going to do it a bit in this way, but this I strongly suggest that you do most of the fixing when it's on. And again here, they're showing you to load the gun in the wrong way. As you can see, that's the charge mechanism, and it's loaded on this side. So I don't understand why they did it. And of course, as you can see over here, you have some extra stickers. Now it's nice of Hasbro giving you the where would you put those stickers. So as you can see, they do have a bit of a bend, so I hope it will not affect them. But basically, you can customize your vehicle into 3 different kinds of ways with some Pimp My Ride stickers. For the people who watch MTV will remember that. So you have a shark, you have some kind of dog wolf, and then you have a kind of a crocodile over here. So is it a nice little add-on that Hasbro did to us to give us these? Yes. Is this something that you would see on a tier 1 operating vehicle? Yeah, not really sure about it. Normally those guys try to go around being discreet and not wanting to show off too much, and I guess when you pimp your vehicle as much as that, this is not definitely something that will go unseen. So yeah, that does put it as a bit of a, how can we say, something that's not really logic in that behalf. So I will not be sticking on. I'm a purist, and I like my vehicles like they are when they first came out. So now that we have talked a bit about the box, let's go in and have a look at the history of this vehicle. So sadly, I was unable to locate my crankcase from 1985, nor was I able to find my crankcase also from the future line from the G.I. Joe Classified, not Classified, sorry, the ones from the 25th anniversary. So the vehicle did come out multiple times, but the first time it came out was 1985. Anyway, I'm going to be putting the pictures of the driver. As you can see, he does come with a weapon that is not given with this one. Again, doesn't matter that much. It would have been nice to have it. And then, of course, we have the other one from 2008, who is a vehicle that you can see is the one from the 25th anniversary version of it. Those pictures were kindly borrowed from yojo.com. So if you want to get more information about G.I. Joe, it is a good place to go and have a look. Now, I do have a vehicle. Now, this one is the one from the 25th anniversary. This is not the model from the time the one I have. I do have the one I had as a kid, but it's a bit more bent. If you remember, the 1985 line had a lot of vehicles who had more higher, intense and detailed look onto the way they were done, and they were extremely fragile. Anybody who was around and who played around with the Silver Mirage motorbike will know that that thing was such a piece of crap, to be polite, and this one does have the same issues. As you can see already over here, this one was not even played with as much as the one that I had back in the days, but as you can see over here, you can really see that the plastic is already going white, the things are not holding in place. Back in the days, this would be kind of something falling off. Then you had the antennas who would get bent. So even if you have the suspensions, this also is a big problem when you have it in storage. Some of the vehicles have a tendency of getting blocked like this, and then your wheels should move up and down like this, who's not really the best part about it. So it was nice to have a bit of suspension, contrary to every other vehicle that we got. The VAM or the other vehicles previously to that did not have it. But again, this is mostly something that they did, and afterwards they course corrected it in the 1986, where we didn't have so many flimsy parts. But I remember friends having this vehicle, and the roll bars were not that good. There were some issues with the gun also. Like I said, Silver Mirage, all of that is something that is not that great. Now, something that I'll be talking also about, and the one that they did over here, is a cool thing with the feature of the engine. You can see the engine does take up a lot of room, and you will see the new one is not as, how can we say, as big as this. So that's maybe just a little problem, but as you can see, the vehicle itself was pretty cool. The fact that you had the engine trap that could come off, of course, did not have a tow hook that way you could put something, but again, It was a cool vehicle. It had this kind of vibe of Delta Force movie with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin, who had these little vehicles. Of course, be talking more about them and showing you some pictures of that vehicle later on in the review of this nice vehicle, and of course the figure. So now that we've done the history, we talked a bit about the box and all of that, now let's jump into what do we get in this box. So now that we have had a look at the box, the history about this vehicle, let's have a look at it. So of course I've already opened mine, and of course, as you can see, you can dismantle a lot of things on this vehicle. So of course I've put back these antennas, do not come with it. The machine gun, the M62 version over here is already attached, so yeah, this is already in. And of course I'm going to be starting by talking about the engine. So of course they wanted to do a callback to the engine part over here, and I must say that it was an interesting idea that you would do a little engine part over here. But let's be honest, this looks like some kind of John Deere engine for a little vehicle, you know, to lawnmower, than more than a Jeep or more than this kind of a buggy to have this kind of stuff. So I understand, because when you look at it, there was not much room to do something, but they could have tried to do something maybe a bit deeper. But yeah, it's a nice little add to it and a callback to the original one. So I'm not going to complain too much about it, but let's be honest, this engine is a little bit small for this kind of buggy. So of course, as you can see, you have the hook. This was not on the original one. You also have some foot stands to be able to put some figures. As you can see, I didn't remove one of these little elastics on it. So let's continue. So of course, here you can fix the extra seat. Then going up a bit forward, we're going to have a closer look at the inside. As you can see, you have the handbrake that you can pull up and down. The gearbox is working, the steering wheel is working. You have the little radio over here. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. Okay, so you have the radio, it unhooks. I'm not going to unhook it because I have problems putting it back in. So I don't know if you guys who have purchased this vehicle also have this problem or not. But this one is what I have as a problem with it. The steering wheel looks pretty good, it spins around. And no, I really did a good job on it. I like the fact of the details on the board over here. You have all the information. And yeah, it does look pretty awesome. I'll be putting up some pictures of the one that they did back in the day in 12-inch. Of course, these are some pictures I took outside. You know, if you want to have a look more about them, you can go to my Facebook page. But this is the same kind of vehicle that they kind of want to inspire themselves. Now, continuing with it, as you can see, you have big wheels, small wheels. And I must say, I think the wheels in front are a little bit too small. I would have liked to see something bigger. As I've shown you on the original one, the wheels are the same size. So this is something that I really don't understand why they did that. But again, it's a question of the design, and they decided to go with it. Of course, if we come also to the front of the vehicle, now over here, you doesn't steer, but you can, there's a little way of popping these out. So if you want to give it a look a bit turning like this, you can do it. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Like I said, the wheels are way too small. Of course, you have the hook over here. Would have been nice maybe to have something that could hold it in place while it was not being pulled out. That would have been something to do. They didn't do it with the vamp. So over here, well, the vamp you could hook it on, but this one is not going to work. Then of course we're coming on to the machine gun over here. So this machine gun over here is a little bit too small. As you can see, proportional to other stuff, this should be the equivalent of an M60, and as you can see, the gun itself is a little bit too small on the vehicle. I like the fact that we're getting this kind of gun, but it's not the right one. Then let's have a closer look at over here. You can see there's some pegs over here, and these pegs are to put some accessories that I'm going to be talking about. But overall, not too bad. Let's have a look at the other bits and pieces that come with it. Of course, you have different wall bars that come with it. This is the one who comes on top over here, and this is the one if you want to build it up. So this is something who's kind of really good with this vehicle, is that it gives you different possibilities to mount it the way you want. So you see, if you come with this, you can mount it. It gives you the vibe of the one from back in the days. And if you want to add this, then you can add this, and then it goes on to the one I showed you in 1/6 scale in the pictures. So yeah, I do find this really cool to have. And then afterwards, because let's be honest, the vehicle is pretty interesting. Then continuing, we have these rocket launchers. There's ATF4 rocket launchers. Also seem a little bit small, but again, it's nice to have some extra accessories. I'll be showing you the rockets that go into it. So of course, you remove them, because if there would be a non-firing position, these rockets will not appear. But again, this is done for, you know, to put them in, and you would have them hanging out like this. Let's zoom into it. As you can see, that's how they would be focusing and putting them in. But again, this is not something that you would have in the real life. Continuing with some other of the accessories, of course, you can see the extra seat who comes over here. Not much to see over here. Going to put it in over here. Then of course we have the 50 cal, and again, this is a big problem over here. As you can see, the rifle itself is not straight. So yeah, this is something that Hasbro really needs to work on, and it's a bit wobbly, and normally this should be popping up, but this one doesn't, so don't try it. There's no other movable parts over here. Everything is fixed, and as you can see, it looks like every 50 cal they have, but they really have to find a problem. Like I said, this is really something who's becoming a bit bugging, that these things don't stay on straight. Afterwards, you should hook it in. I'll be showing you that afterwards when I'm going to be putting it in. Then we have, when jerry can, would have liked to see maybe 2 of these. Of course, you have the hole over here. These go pop in over here. This is another nice accessory that they gave with it, and it's the toolkit. And the toolkit box, well, somebody stole his tools while I guess he was going to go and pick up a coffee from Starbucks or for Tim Horton, because that's something that could happen. Then we get to ammo boxes. Well, both ammo boxes are exactly the same. Who, again, if you are going to go onto military logic, and this is again maybe nitpicking, both ammo crates are exactly the same. The size of the bullets are exactly the same. That this is 7.62 and this is a 50 cal, so the bullet should be way bigger than that. But again, nice to have these boxes with the ammo. I would have liked to have the possibility to have maybe this removed, but as you can see, you have also the pegs to put it in. So that's most of what you get with the vehicle. Now we're going to have a look at Crankcase. So here is our friend Crankcase. As you can see, does look pretty good. He does have some vibes of the 25th anniversary. I put the pictures in at the beginning of the video with this kind of vest on him. I like the idea of going on to a bit more modernized version of it. There's some kind of logo on his belt. Do not know what it is. Head sculpt looks pretty neat. I mean, really did a good job with it. Doesn't have any patches over here. Does have the G.I. Joe logo. Again, not a fan of the new G.I. Joe logo, but again, maybe I'm more old school and that's the reason why. But I do think the figure looks pretty good. Would I have liked to see maybe him getting his galley as a weapon? Yeah, but again, this is a modern version, so I will go and do it and say, well, yeah, they did a modern version. They give him a small knife. They give him a pistol, who he didn't have at the beginning. So again, this makes more sense due to the fact that he has a lot of machine guns, firepower on the vehicle. So yeah, would it be logic that he would have a primary weapon? Yes, but again, then you would have some missing pouches over here for some extra ammo. But the figure really did a good job over it. And afterwards, we're going to go on all the different headgear stuff that we have with this guy over here. and they really did a lot of stuff. So we have the helmet over here, who's a basic helmet that you have already seen. So yeah, this one is nothing new. Then we have this one, who reminds me a lot of the one that came with the ATF Cobra, the ferret. And of course, a little bit of paint job over here. Then something I really do not understand the use of, and it's this little hat with an off-road. As you can see, there's no full hat. And again, why would you want to go around driving in a dusty place with only this on your head? Oops, sorry. It would make no sense. You're going to get dust. You're going to get everything in your face. So why would you want to wear only that? Again, it's something that I do not really understand. Then afterwards, continuing with some cool extra accessories that do make a lot of sense. So he has a neck scarf, and this can serve as a bandana and put it around. And this makes a lot of sense that you would have this on the guy's face because of the dust that is coming from him driving. So of course, let's put it on. Over here, not popping it in completely. This doesn't look right. So here it is, put it in. As you can see, it does make sense. You would have protection, and the fact that he comes with some goggles, the goggles on top of it would protect his eyesight. So this is why I'm saying the hat that they gave does not make sense at all. If you're some kind of civilian going around, you would go around with this, but again, this offers no protection. So I would say this kind of helmet does work a lot better and does make a lot of sense to have it on. And this one, of course, would make sense also to have it on, but then you will have to remove the balaclava. I didn't manage to put the helmet on. You could try to squeeze it in, but it is a pretty fit and tight fit. So yeah, as you can see, did some pretty awesome job over here. Now let's put this back in. Afterwards, in some more accessories that come with this guy, we have the binoculars. There's a nice little add-on. These are the same ones that came with the Retro Duke, who's the ones he had. So nice add-on to have some binoculars. Then, like I was saying, you have, of course, the knife and the pistol. Pistol, don't remember seeing this one. This one looks a bit of a new design. The knife is not a new design. This was already given. Now I'm going to go on to the most funniest accessory that is given, and this is the coffee mug. So because he wanted to go and fill up his coffee mug at the Starbucks or some kind of place, he got his tool stolen. So let's see if we can see what's written on it over here. Yeah, so Yo Joe, nice little add to it. And then what Hasbro did, and I guess this is definitely not military appliance, is you have some cup holders to put the beverage in. So I can understand that you would get this on a luxury German Berlin or any other car, German car. But again, let's be honest, I don't think military standard for vehicles will have a cup holder. So yeah, it is a bit funny that they decided to put it. It's a nice little touch, but again, not something I would have seen. It's a nice little callback. Now, let's put this on, and this is a bit one of the parts that I have a bit of an issue with, because these kind of clips in, but they don't really have that much of a solid attached. So you have to clip it in over there, but you can see it pops out. It doesn't have a well holding, and I can understand why they did it, due to the fact that you can then customize it, remove it, put it in, and the fact that you need to be doing this also is there's a reason behind this madness. It is because you have to remove it if you want to put a figure inside. As you can see, it moves a bit all over the place, and you have to start pushing these things in. So here we are, we have it in. And if you want to put a figure in, you will have to remove it, because trying to fit this figure in, it's extremely hard, and especially over here you cannot see very well, but you have the plastic mounts who are holding the vehicle screwed in, and these gives you a tendency when you're going to put the figure in, who's going to be pretty hard. Then afterwards we're going to add, as you can see, it pops out again over here. You see, this is what I'm saying, you pop it in somewhere, it pops out somewhere else. So maybe not the most practical. And then afterwards, we're going to be popping this one in. And this one comes like this over here. And you see, here is our vehicle fully loaded and ready to go. So let's put up some other stuff. As you can see, you have the position over here, but you have to really watch out. This would be better to put on in clips on, because this is a pretty tight fit and you need to put some pressure down. Otherwise, you can see it has a tendency of falling off. What I was saying about it, not over here, the box, because remember, this is the charging handle, and you will have the ammo belt will be fed over here. But the fact that depending how you want to put the ammo crate, I think this is maybe the most easiest way to put it. But if you put it this way or this way, the bullets will be still bent in a funny way, and that would be not a logical way of doing it for these vehicles. So yeah, does not make much sense. So afterwards, let's put on the rocket launchers. As you can see, there's only one way to put them on, because you can't put them on the other way. So of course you're going to clip them in over here. Afterwards, I'm going to put the toolbox in front. Over here, clips it in. Watch out, don't press too hard on this, because this could bend and get damage. And then afterwards, we're going to put the jerry can over here. Why I'm doing it in this way is because if you decide to put the toolbox over here and you want to try to remove it, it becomes very hard. There's very little space. If you put this over here, you can see it's a lot harder to grab and pull out. So of course, you put the toolbox, as you can see, these things do clips pretty well inside. So yeah, this is something that is pretty hard. Now also comes to the same principle. If you want to mag feed this, yeah, you can see it's kinds of bends in all kinds of different ways, and this is definitely not the way you would want to have your bullets fed into the machine gun. This can cause jams and other problems. So I think the possibility of being able to remove it and slide it in would have been a more logical choice about it. So as I was saying regarding the figure, I'm going to give him all of this in place. I'm not going to put the helmet on or this. I'm going to put the pistol in, so don't lose it when it goes in for storage for now, because I don't have a room to put it up yet. Maybe putting it up in storage so that I can go and take some pictures outside at a later date. But let's say you want to put the figure in, like I said, you need to remove all of this. So let's put the figure in, and as you can see, it does have the legs a bit large. I'm going to move this and see if we can do it in this kind of way. So you really over there you have those mounts over there, so you really have to push the leg over here to go inside, and then it's easy, because otherwise it would be pretty complicated to put in. Of course, the steering wheel does come off when you do this. You try to attach it in this way, so that's also something that you have to be careful of. And I think some people were saying that they may have lost their steering wheel, or the steering wheel didn't come with it. And as you can see, there's a little bit about it over here, so you really have to be careful to put it back in the right way, otherwise it doesn't fit in. So that's the right way. I'm going to try to do this again. Oops. As you can see, it is not the easiest way of doing it, but we're going to put the hand on over here and him having the hand over there. Yeah. I don't know, I might be gluing this thing in, because I don't really understand the reasoning behind it of coming off. It doesn't make any sense for me, and I should think I'm going to glue it in, because you can see you can put this in pretty easily. Like I said, here I have the problem, I'm touching against the side of it, so really not the easiest part to do. So this is something that I think that Hasbro should have looked at, of maybe putting it maybe further in front to hold it in. So now we have the guy in place. Now we can put this back on top over here and get everything back into place. So always pop it in like this. I start by the middle. I think it's the easiest. Then pop in the rear, and then you should pop in the front over here. Ups, ups. One more to go in, and then you should go around the vehicle, see if everything's still holding in place. Let's put this over here, and then I'm going to be finishing putting it. As you can see, figure does look neat, but as you can see, he's pretty tall towards the roof, even with the helmet. So this is the reason why you have to remove this railing, the anti-bar walls. So yeah, this is something that could have been better thought about it. Anyway, now I'm going to give this a little spin, tell you what I think about this vehicle, give you my note out of 10, and I'm going to tell you if I believe this is a collectible item. So, just before me putting this for a little spin, I wanted to talk about another part that I didn't talk about, like the original one. As you can see, it does have some suspensions in the back and over here, same way as the vamp did. So yeah, it's a nice little feature. After it's more a gadget than anything else. So let's go for the spin. So now let's give this bad boy a spin, and let me tell you what I think about this vehicle, final thoughts, what is my note out of 10 for this vehicle, and also do I believe it's a collectible item. Let's start by the collectible value of this vehicle. Does it have a certain tray for being a collectible? And the answer is yes. Due to the fact that this is a Hasbro Pulse exclusive vehicle, and we all know the last vehicle from Hasbro Pulse to be there was the Vamp, and that one is going for sky-high prices right now on the aftermarket. Of course, it was available at Big Bad Toys for a little period of time. Don't think anybody else had that one up in the US. It's sold out all over the place. So again, this could be something that is worth picking up. And again, it's not like we have 100 of companies out there making 1/12 scale vehicles to go with our G.I. Joe figures. So yeah, it's a bit of an army builder, if you can say like this, because this vehicle could be driven by Crankcase, could be driven by any other of the G.I. Joe members, and you can put 2, maybe even a bit more figures onto it, so it does make it a very interesting vehicle on that behalf. So yeah, I do think that this one is a collectible vehicle. Now, let's go on to my note out of 10 about it. Now, you did hear me being nitpicky about certain little parts about it, and talking about the engine size behind, the roll bars who are a bit flimsy to put on, but again, I understand the reasoning behind it and the way it was designed. So yeah, it's not going to be easy to do. The small wheel in front is a bit of a shame also, but it's not the end of the world. The steering wheel coming up, the way that they screwed in the 2 parts of the body of the vehicle is also an issue. The fact that he doesn't have a primary weapon would have been a nice add, but all of that is being a little bit nitpicky, and I don't think it should be much of a bringing down the note. It's little things that could have made the vehicle better, same as adding some tools into the toolkit. But again, if you want to do that, there's Gridiron Studio. I guess Valaverse is going to be also jumping on the occasion of making some extra weapons, some tools, and some other accessories to go with it. So you have some possibilities, but this is where Hasbro should be giving us a bit more extra accessories to go with this kind of vehicle. So yeah, I'm going to be like nitpicky, but for the note at the end of the day, this is a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 due to the fact that they could have done a few little things to make it even better, but let's be honest, it is a fantastic vehicle. The fact of having the hook behind to be able to tow the MMS rocket launcher, all the different stuff that they did, they modernized it. This is a classified vehicle, and this is what I'm expecting from Classified series, is to get more modern versions of the vehicle, or upgrades of the characters like they did with some others out there. I'm not going to spoil it because I'm going to be talking about it in the future reviews. So yeah, I think Hasbro did a wonderful and fantastic job on it. and I really like this vehicle a lot, and I think it does have a potential to be a bit army builder. And I wonder if out there's going to be, what is it called, a Gridiron Studio coming out, maybe have an extra wheel to attach over here. That would be a cool little feature. Extra jerry cans, all this kind of stuff to strap on here, backpacks to attach onto it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be done on this vehicle that could make it even cooler. So, did you purchase it? Did you get this vehicle? Have you intentions of buying it? Or do you believe it's going to go on sale like some rumors out there have it? Are you going to buy it after seeing this review? Is there anything that you disagree with me about this vehicle? So let me know in the comment section, and let's start a conversation around this fantastic vehicle. So that's going to be it for my review of Crankcase and the AWE Striker from the G.I. Joe Classified line. If you like this kind of videos, please leave a like, share, comment in the section. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section. I have a Facebook page where I have stuff for sale. If you're in Europe, I can help you out. There's some archives, there's plenty of cool stuff to go and check out over there. So the links are in the description. I do also have an Instagram page, but not very active on it. Don't like the way it functions, and not the best way of communicating for me. So yeah, I also have X, but not really caring. I didn't put the links in the description. I shouldn't maybe do it. If you like to follow stuff on X, you can go also over there. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.